All right, as part of a recent event, we ended up giving out 32 DLC keys, so that was pretty sick. Happy to see all the new players. And the second part of the prize we offered is even if you didn't get a DLC key, you could send me a replay and get it guaranteed streamed. So here we are, we're gonna do a couple videos with some of those. So these are, by the way, the offer expired. If you're about to just send me a bunch of replays out of nowhere, that wasn't part of the event. It's part of the event. All right, so I'm probably gonna cast like 3 of these back to back. Note that these are newer player replays, so you're gonna see varying levels of skill. You know, as people are learning the game, it's fine to make mistakes. Like flaming the shit out of them in chat is pretty bullshit because generally people who do that also don't play very well, so it's kind of hypocritical from what I've seen. So yeah, we're gonna look at some stuff. I will be talking a little bit more about army compositions and strategies because I'm under the assumption that these are newer players, right? And that this advice might be helpful. So the players themselves submitted these replays. We have one here from Sirwin and Strevelet. So normally when you see videos on my channel, I go through them and I watch them at ×4 speed just to see if the armor compositions were interesting, if the gameplay was generally solid, if units weren't left AFK for too long, and if the end result is close enough to be worth casting. These will not be that, right? These are guaranteed from an event, so you know, they could be a one-sided stomp. Who knows, right? That's just not how this works. So these are going to be a little more analytical than like hype and entertaining, right? All right, so starting builds here. Kislev sent in the replay, so I'm going to talk more about the Kislev army. What do you have? Armored Kossars, front line is pretty solid. Kossars on the flanks is okay. Kossar spears are fine. Wolf Hearts, more Kossars in the background, more Kossar spears. Okay, Ice Witch of Tempest, we have Hawks of Mishka, Blizzard, Snowflake, Pendant, Glacial Blast. Okay, so far, liking it, like the build a lot. Wing Lancers are fine. Okay, so your build is missing a lot of the key mistakes I usually expect out of new players, which is really solid. You didn't bring all of the spells on the mage, which is great. You just brought a couple that are focused, so pretty good. One note I might bring up is you brought 2 expensive spells, which can be difficult to cast both of them multiple times in a game, so maybe consider cutting one of these for a cheaper variant, but both are good spells, so I don't think you picked like a bad spell. They're both fine. Other than that, no real notes. The build looks pretty solid. I generally get what you're trying to do. You're going to try and outshoot the Wood Elves with cheap bullshit. So either if they're more elite cavalry, get onto your archers, or they have triple Waywatcher, which they do here, you can kind of just tank the shots with shit units. I get it. I get what you're going for. If the enemy had Durthu, you have plenty of shooting and you can deal with that. It's fine. Yeah, it's generally fine. I think it's a pretty good build. I like it. I like it. Deployment's good. Good spacing between everybody. It's good. Really good setup. Like it. Enemy team comp, just for the sake of it, is Triple Waywatcher, including the Hawkeyes of Jakira, Glade Riders, Wild Hunters of Kronos, Great Stag Knights, and Spellbearer of High Magic. And they're all clumped up right now to get Loic's Blessing. So he wanted to make a giant pile of unspottable cavalry. Then we have Triple Blade Singer in the background. Gotcha. All right, we won't talk as in-depth about the Wood Elf build because that's not the player who sent in the replay, so it's just, I'm not going to focus as much of my analytical time on it. Wing Lancers getting ambushed a bit. They are a little blobbed. We don't love to see that. Generally, cavalry need to be separated and like hit an opponent at 2 different angles so that they're getting good saturation. Blade Riders shutting down your Kossars. That's pretty good from the Wood Elf player. Shutting down 2 ranged units with 1 Glade Rider is quite good. And the ambush, the secret ambush thing from the Spellbearer High Magic actually worked really well. And now it's quite difficult for Wing Lancers to get out of here. They can't leave. My criticisms of where they were positioned aside, like now they're fucked. You can't do anything about it. The Wild Hunters are significantly faster and they're just better, so I don't mind him holding position here and just trying to get archer fire in, but the Glade Riders are doing a really good job screening that archer fire from the cav fight. So far, the Wood Elf player is playing very, very well, and the Kislev player is responding appropriately, but to a good play by his opponent, so his opponent's going to come out ahead. Great Stag Knights, on the other hand, suffering quite a bit. So while that flank is going fantastically for the Wood Elves, unfortunately the Great Stag Knights look like they tried to charge some halberds and then took a bunch of ranged fire in response. So that's a little tricky, and you see they got punished for that pretty heavily. Wing Lancers are suicide diving onto Waywatchers. I do like that, and I generally like a lot of what's going on. I don't love the lack of cohesion. So we started the game with a great deployment, and since then it's kind of gone to shit. We have armored Kossars and Kislevite warriors wandering out into Waywatchers, They're kind of trying to support the Wing Lancers. They're kind of trying to pressure the Way Watchers off, but it's just not going to work because I'm going to analyze this for like what I think is correct play, not, you know, what I think your opponents is going to do in this exact situation. But a big threat you're facing right now is if these Great Stag Knights and the Spellweaver turn around, you're in big trouble because they're going to hit your armored Cossars from behind. And then you're going to be getting shot in the back by Way Watchers while you're getting pummeled by armor-piercing cavalry behind you. And your archers don't have the range to support this, right? Your Wolfhearts are moving up. Some of them are, but I'm saying your whole unit cohesively isn't moving together. So half your army is not going to partake in this battle if the Wood Elves decide to ambush you. Right. Now, it is a little risky for the Wood Elves because the Wild Hunters of Chronos would still be in a decent amount of volley fire. So they're maybe not in the best position to punish that. But what is in a good position is the Blade Singers. So the Blade Singers are getting almost exactly what they want, I think, from what the Wood Elf player wanted to do. His Way Watchers are now running from your slow-ass infantry like, oh, no, please don't catch me. Oh, no. And these Blade Singers are going to run up and chop you all to death, way out of range of your archers, because the Blade Singers don't want to mess with your archers at all. They want a fair fight against your armored Cossars. Yeah, the Wild Hunters of Chronos are now pulling back because that flank fight did what he wanted it to do. It's drawn archers away. It's drawn archers towards a unit that is way faster and can get away to safety, and it doesn't have to re-engage into them if it doesn't want to. Now, it is coming across, like we said, to surround these armored Cossars. It is going to take a little bit of damage from the Wolfhearts for that, but still, there are 5 units over there that are out of position. The Widows are trying to utilize their speed, because your advantage from your build, Kislev player, was, I mean, look at this fucking Blade Singer just destroyed those Kislevite warriors. Anyway, your advantage was your amount of ranged infantry. The Wood Elves' advantage is the elite nature of their infantry. So they want to take as many 1v1s as possible, and you want to force as many 2v1s as possible, because that's where you win. Really good blizzard here, though, onto the Blade Singers, taking those guys down a peg. And Cossars getting a little blobbed up, but so far it's fine. They're not interfering in their own fire too much, and they are supporting against the Blade Singer fights. So we have 1 healthy Blade Singer, 2 healthy Blade Singers, 2 healthy Way Watchers, and 1 Way Watcher that has half of its models, but pretty low HP. Kislev's still in a decent spot to win this game. They're not even down yet. Really good net on the Wild Hunters of Chronos. I didn't see it happening, but I saw the end of the net. But Wing Lancer's getting a free charge onto that Wood Elf medium cavalry, and it's getting pin cushion from all sides, so that's a really good trap. And the Wood Elf player probably shouldn't have sent their Wild Hunters of Chronos to run interference in between all those archers. Rear charge here on the Cossars as the last of the Wild Hunters fight with some Great Stag Knights. The Spellweaver of High Magic somehow got bogged down in armored Cossars, and it either needs a Blade Singer or a couple volleys of Way Watchers to save it, because it's taking a lot of damage. So there are some mistakes here being made by the Wood Elves, but overall, I really liked the Wood Elves' plan too. It worked nearly perfectly of just like draw out the armored Cossar front line with your Way Watchers and then send Blade Singers into them. And the Blade Singers have been doing very well since. Now they're going to bail out the Lord, but this is why he had to do the draw out thing, is because when you're not drawing them out of position, you are just running into a metric shit ton of arrows and you're going to die. Speaking of gonna die, Spellweaver of High Magic is thoroughly locked down and having a very difficult time escaping. She needed to probably cast Apotheosis on herself, but she didn't get around to it. And now she probably won't die, as that Blizzard is going to probably get her out of here. The Blade Singers are also going to dodge it, so yeah, that's going to be a bit of a friendly fire Blizzard, unfortunately. I get it. He wanted to trade an armored Cossar for a Blade Singer, which would definitely be worth it, but the Blade Singer saw it and dodged. And also, he had the Spellweaver wrapped up in a really good situation, so now that Blizzard is actually going to knock down some of your own guys and let her maybe get away. So a bit of a whoopsie there, but oof, beautiful armored Cossar shot across the line, takes out the Lord with the help of some Wolfhearts, so good stuff there. Wood Elf Lord is dead. Pretty big win for you as far as the Kislevites go. Way Watcher still putting a lot of damage onto the Kislevite forces. Blade Singers are running out of gusto, and the Kislevites are down to mostly archers. There's only 1 armored Cossar left at half HP the Blade Singers would have to deal with, so I don't think 3 Way Watchers can deal with all these archers. They just don't have the ammo for it, and then afterwards in melee they're gonna have a really tough time. It's a pretty close game though. Very close game. The Way Watchers are going to do a lot of damage. I think if just Kislev's patient, though, they'll be fine. They have the capture point. They have the HP advantage. It's okay. 7 volleys, 10 volleys, 13 volleys on a wounded Way Watcher. Just eat the shots, push them, right? Make them work for it. But in the end, they're going to have to get you off that point in melee, and you're going to be okay, I think. I mean, I think. And it is getting a little risky. These Way Watcher shots are doing a lot of damage, which of course they are, but maybe I was underestimating them a little bit. I'm gonna just ×2 fast forward real quick. As the Way Watchers piss out the rest of their ammo into the Cossars. Yeah, it's starting to get a little risky though. Like they're running out of ammo pretty quick. Still have an armored Cossar, which is not nothing. I do worry about it getting overextended. The Wild Hunters of Kronos are significantly damaged, but they're still Blade Singers here, and those Blade Singers are starting to eat these armored Cossars. Yeah, I think we had to be a little more patient and stay more together. Because, like, I don't want to be too cringe, but it is kind of like the Wood Elves are hunting you, right? And you're this slow-moving moose, and they're a bunch of wolves, and, like, you just can't stick a limb out of place. You kind of have to stay together. Force the pack to come and actually fight you, because that armored Cossar, like, it got separated and then just picked apart. Missiles from all sides, Blade Singers jumping in on it, and it was just pretty bad. Balance of Power is strangely optimistic on Kislev right now. I'm very concerned, because we only really have an almost dead Cossar, and like that Blade Singer's coming in hot. It's the Lord's HP that's keeping this in it, and the Way Watchers running out of ammo. The game just thinks that after they're out of ammo, they're literally useless, which they're not great, but neither are like your Cossars. I mean, they're just archers. Wild Hunters of Kronos are charging in. Really need these archers to turn and fire one last time and take those guys out and secure that, because then at least if it's infantry versus infantry, your spells might be able to win it. But if the Wild Hunters can keep charging, yeah, it's brutal. Cossars didn't turn around fast enough. Wolfhearts have turned around. They have fire at will on, though. Now they're turning to actually shoot at the Wild Hunters. Is there like a missing unit, or why is this balance of power so fucked? There we go. Wolfhearts protect themselves. All right, it's down to this. Do we have a Hawks or a Blizzard? That's a Blizzard. Wood Elves aren't going to dodge it in time. It's a pretty solid cast for this late in the game. Like, this late in the game, it's quite easy to dodge things, so getting that cast is pretty good. You really can't wait too much longer and just, like, hope that all of the Way Watchers blob up or something. It's just not going to happen, so almost deleting an entire Way Watcher on your own is pretty good. That's like our 4th or 5th Blizzard. He's got to be nearly out of Winds of Magic. I think maybe he has 1 Hawks left in him, which if he does, that'll win the game, and if he doesn't, he's lost. So it really is down to just Winds of Magic. Do you have Hawks or do you not? He does. He has Hawks. Okay, I think he wins. I think he wins. Because there's just not a lot of time. Yeah, the Hawks is going to do really good damage against the Blade Singers. It's going to push them off with that Discourage. And then, I don't know if the Wood Elves have the capture weight. Ooh, they don't have the army weight. No shot you get army loss there. That's fucked. That is some fucked up army losses. That shouldn't have happened. Oh, it's funny. Funny. Because the Wood Elves still had some teeth in that game. I mean, the Hawkeyes of Chikira aren't nothing in melee, and all you have is a Lord now with no Winds of Magic, I guarantee it. So, yeah, really close game. Some good plays from both sides, some slight mistakes from both sides. Kislev, great army composition, great setup, liked it. In the execution, you got pulled apart a little bit. And it's brutal. It's brutal and it's terrible to take damage from the Wood Elves and do nothing about it, but you need to accept that you can't do anything about it. Your armored Cossars literally can't catch them. They will engage with you if they want to. Their Way Watchers are faster and they outrange your armored Cossars, so walking at them isn't going to accomplish anything. The only time they're going to come fight you is when they know something you don't, like those Blade Singers are ready to go, like the Wild Hunters of Kronos are behind you or something like that, right? So you got to stay together and you just got to eat the damage, and it fucking sucks, but that's why you brought all this cheap bullshit, and that's why you brought bullshit with shields, right? You're going to take that damage. If you want to stop them from dealing damage, you got to get a little Grom, you got to get more Winged Lancers, you got to get Griffin Legions, you got to get aggressive, and that's an entirely different build. So with the build you have, be patient, eat the damage in a controlled environment, right? So yeah, GG though, GG, very well played. I mean, you won the game, so not all bad, and Strevelet also played very well. I know he's also one that sent in some replays, so I feel bad for not giving him too many comments, but like I said, when I'm trying to cast this like with advice and stuff, that kind of thing, you saw how much depth I went into. There's not as much time to like talk about both sides, right? There's a high density of content, so it's just like, sorry, one army's gonna get more of the focus. All right, next up is Titus FF versus Duck Shark. Duck Shark, another newer player from this event. Happy to see them cast their 2v2 event today. All right, Marauder Bearman, Frontline, Norskin Ice Trolls, Great Shaman Sorcerer of Death with Fate of Being and Spirit Leech. We have a Chimera, Axe Throwers, and Norskin Ice Trolls with some Skin Wolves and Norskin Warhounds. Okay, pretty solid setup. Pretty solid setup. I would refer back to my Skaven tips video about this. I don't love this. Dogs in general cannot take charges. They take so much fucking damage, and their leadership is so low, they're going to rout. So I'd switch the position of the Skin Wolves and the Norscan Warhounds. Skin Wolves can take the charge. They'll still take some damage, but they won't take as much because they're large bodies. And then the dogs can run up and saturate the area and help them, or the Kurgan Horsemen, either or. But dogs being out front, if your micro slips even a little bit, these Chaos Knights are going to one-shot them. So I would flip the order of your flanks. And then I like your front line. The front line's pretty good. Bearmen plus Ice Trolls, good combination of armor piercing and health. You do have to deploy your trolls further back because their superior speed is going to bring them out in front of your Bearmen. But otherwise, it's fine. Spellcaster's good spells. Chimera's a good unit if you can use it correctly, which I often don't, but I'll be curious if you do. On the other side, just real quick, we have some Marauder Horsemen throwing axes, Chaos Knights, Chaos Warhounds, Marauders, and Marauders with great weapons, Gorby's Chariot, Blood Beasts of Khorne, Valkia, and a Shadows Caster. Okay, so the Norscan front line, hey, look, that thing I said is going to happen. Half health off the Norscan Warhounds, and they're going to rout on the charge. So that's unfortunate. You just lost 400 gold. And it's brutal. And I'm not trying to be a dick, but I'm just telling you why it happened and how to avoid it, because like the Kurgan Horsemen or the Skin Wolves need to eat that charge, and the dogs come in second. Which, to compliment Duck Shark, he did. His Chaos Knights ate the charge from the Skin Wolves, and the dogs came in. And he's even wrapping the dogs, which is pretty good. But again, we're focusing on Norska. So the Norscan Ice Trolls ran into that problem we talked about. Their superior speed got them into the fight first. Now the Bearmen are going to arrive, but they're going to arrive a little disjointed. Marauder Hunters overextending a little bit. They do need to turn and start firing, but the Marauder Bearmen plus the Ice Troll frontline is superior enough that you are getting some good winning engagements, even with little misplays here and there. So it's fine. Frontline is really your strength. This flank fight is going to shit, and it's going to shit very quickly. Feral Manticore and the Chaos Knights, they're just outclassing your guys, so this is a lost cause. Skin Wolves can't escape or anything, so I guess just fight it to the death, but do focus your efforts on the low ground. It seems like you're doing that, so that's fine. That's fine. Sometimes you lose fights, and that's okay. Gorby's Chariot taking a lot of damage from the Kurgan Horsemen, and the Ice Trolls are escaping. They'll regenerate, they'll come back, that's fine. So overall, this is a really good trade. The frontline fight is going amazingly for Norska, and they just accepted that they lost that flank, which is probably a good call. I don't love sending these Marauder Bearmen and Norscan Warhounds up there. You're just going to get picked apart, kind of like we talked about in the Kislev game. It's like, all right, do you have anything fast enough to go support them at this point? Not really. So now these guys are also just lambs to the slaughter. So we are feeding good money after bad. Like, you just need to lose it. And you see at high-level games, there's a lot of times in like tournaments and high-level games where I'll say like, both sides are reforming, so I'm going to fast forward this. Why that happens so often is because of things like this. On the high ground, when your Skin Wolves die, the Manticore has to chase them down, or what was the fucking point? If the Skin Wolves just going to rally and regenerate, then there was no point to winning this. So it's an awkward cost your opponent has to pay to chase them down. So while they're chasing them down, it's better than feeding good money after bad and losing dogs, and now we have a Bearman showing up, and now we have a Skin Wolf showing up, and now we have this showing up, like one by one by one. It's better to just accept the L and like, okay, he has to chase down my Skin Wolf, but I get to chase down his Marauders, his Gorby's Chariot down here is probably going to die, and I'm going to chase that down. And both sides just kind of focus on winning, finishing your winning fight, finish the food in front of you, and then reassess and go from there. And the only time you don't want to do that is if you're losing, right? Because it's in the chaos interest on the top side. They sent one piss-ass Manticore after your Skin Wolves, but they didn't send the Chaos Knights. They didn't say the Marauder Horsemen after the Norscan Ice Trolls, because this is bad, because it's a bad trade. They can't do it. They can't spend all this time chasing all this bullshit down, because all the bullshit you're chasing down is way more important, and there's more of it. Oh, wow, we're going to kill a Skin Wolf and a Norscan Ice Troll. Well, you're going to kill 3 Marauders with great weapons, a Gorby's Chariot, another Marauder, and maybe a Shadows Caster. They can't let that happen. So they need to abandon their winning fight and come to your winning fight to try and turn it around. And that's why you need to use your space and your advantage to prepare for them, to force them to come into a bad situation, or just to stand with their dick in their hand, wondering what the hell to do, while you keep winning fights. And if they don't chase down your Skin Wolves or your Norscan Ice Trolls, then you get those back in your reform lines. So feeding them in like this, you could instead of just yelling at you, I'll give you something you could do, take the Marauder Bearmen as you're doing and put the Marauder Bearmen here. But then the Skin Wolves and the dogs just sit. They just sit here and wait, and maybe even get the Skin Wolves to charge in behind these Blood Beasts and stuff, but they're right here. So if the Chaos Knights want to take a charge into your bullshit ass Bearmen with 10,000 HP, they'll do some damage on impact, but they're going to get countercharged by dogs and by Skin Wolves and all this shit, and it's just a bad situation for them. Or did they take the time to fully go around, get around your Marauder Bearmen and get a proper rear charge, and in the meantime all their forces are dying. So you got to make them put in the legwork. You can't, you're feeding your assets into a losing fight rather than making them pick between their winning fight or recommitting to their losing fight. So it's all about pressure, it's all about advantage. And that's super easy for me to sit here and say it and do, yet if you watch me play on stream, I'll probably make the same mistakes a couple of times and you'll be like, wow, you're a hypocrite. It's like, no, sometimes we fuck up. And like, when I'm sitting here able to pause the game, watching you play, and I don't have to do anything, it's pretty easy for me to say, here's what you should do. It's a lot harder to remember to do that in game while you're also microing the Chimera versus Valkyria fight. You're also microing chasing down the Gorby's chariot. You're microing a lot of stuff. I'm not doing shit, so it's pretty easy for me to just sit here and tell you what to do. But food for thought. So Skinwolves and Marauder Bearmen are fighting together. This is a really good combination, and the Chaos Knights don't do very well in this situation. The dogs don't either, so you are doing pretty well up here. We took a little more HP than I wanted. The Bearmen lost half HP. We lost another dog for free, but it's still, you're doing pretty good. Balance of power is not in your favor, however, and I think that's due to the single entity health pools. Valkia is still full HP. Shadowscaster's doing okay, and I guess we are attritioning out a little bit, but unless I'm missing something, I don't see why this balance of power is that bad for you. Seems okay. I suppose you just have a cheap caster lord, and Valkia is pretty significantly better in melee. But we have now won this topside fight with 2 Bearmen and Skinwolves versus some random cavalry, so that's going pretty good. All in all, Blood Beast did eventually rout, so maybe I shouldn't doubt the power of the Bearmen. Though, just because they won it doesn't mean they could have won it better with their own support, because I mean, we lost, that Bearman was full HP and now he's nearly dead, so maybe we didn't need to take all that damage. Grace is walking by. Hi, Grace. All right, people in the future, when you hear that, that was Grace. May 13th, 2021. All right, Marauder Bearman continuing to fight. Skinwell's getting a little attrition debt. There you go. So actually we did eventually lose this fight up here, but it was pretty close. Marauder Axe Thrower is getting attacked by Valkia in the downhill charge. Chimera's doing okay. It can do all right with Valkia. It won't win, but it'll do fine, and nice Spirit Leech attacks on her, so good use of spells. We do have a Chaos Feral Manticore. That is going to be a little problematic, I suppose. Skinwolves and Bearmen still chasing, but maybe overextending, because these Skinwolves are going to get hit with dogs and then rear charged by Manticore, and they are not immune to terror, and their leadership is deceptively low at times. So they might terror out. I don't know if they'll naturally rout. If they do, they're going off the map, but they will terror out, yeah. Their leadership holds by a thread, so maybe they'll hang in there. Chimera's run away from Valkia, and you're running out of tools to deal with Valkia, but I suppose we have some healing Norscan Ice Trolls. Ooh. Worst of both worlds for the red team. He spent all that time chasing the Skinwolves with that full health Manticore, and then he didn't even get them. They're going to come back. These other Skinwolves are regenerating too. So now it's all about time. Norska has time on their side. Warriors of Chaos don't. You have multiple regenerating units. You have a Spirit Leech caster, so you just need to delay. And I really like what he's doing. This was an awkward time to pan over. I don't like that at all. The Skinwolf should have ran away. But what I do like what he's doing is the Chimera's not fighting Valkia. While it might trade okay with her, it doesn't have to. His whole win condition now is stalling. He has multiple healing units. He has Spirit Leech. He can just run away. Chimera tried to land in its own infantry support, but Valkia peeled off at the last second and went after your caster. That's really good from Valkia. Not much you could do about it, but like, it's good from Valkia. On the other side, we still have a full health Chaos Feral Manticore. We still have some Marauder Horsemen of Corn throwing axes, some places. We have some forgotten units that do need to be coming back to the fight soon. There we go. They get movement orders, so they're being spotted. The Chimera gets a couple advantageous shots onto Valkia, popping her Demon Shield and prepping her for the next Spirit Leech, because then she can't block any of it, which is fine. Other Skinwolves in the corner don't have movement orders yet, but they're regenerating, so as long as they're regenerating, they're chill. Nope, they're done regenerating. They're maxed out for what they have, so yeah, now they need to move. Okay. Chimera's getting some good fights with Valkia on top of Marauder Bearman support in front of Axeman, who can occasionally throw a little axe at her, and there's a Spirit Leech. This is a really good setup. Nice job. Manticore and some Marauder Horsemen of Corn need to be rejoining the fight for Valkia's side. Get back in here. Spirit Leech caster's doing good. It's doing real good. This game's looking like you've got it well in hand. Bounce Power's not as convinced, but I think unless you do something really cringe, then we're gonna be fine. You got this. You got this. Valkyria's pretty low. Marauder Horseman throwing axes hopping up. Trying to damage the Chimera a little bit. And they're going to get some decent damage out. Chimera probably has worse leadership than your Lord, so it might rout here. But one more Spirit Leech and Valkyria's cooked. Then we have a full health Chaos Feral Manticore, but We should be able to deal with that with very healthy trolls and moderately healthy skin wolves. Should be okay. The throwing axe men are retreating, and Valkia's got no more spears left. No spear Sloupners to get rid of all those Marauder Bearmen. Marauder Bearmen have immune to psychology for some reason. Because everybody gets it now, except for Chosen. Chosen can't get it. And Valkia terror routes, I forgot she could. Her leadership's fine though, she's gonna be back, she'll be okay. Manticore's gonna dive down, that's gonna be a leadership shock that might be a little brutal, but with immune to psychology, you shouldn't terror routes, you should be fine. Chimera's gonna take a 2v1, it'll be pretty bad. But he'll fight his way out. Valkyrie routes, gets hit with a Spirit Leech on the way. Chimera's super close to routing, but he's not going to just yet. There he goes. Routing off. Manticore is gonna kill him. 8 HP. There we go. Chimera's down, but just a Manticore is not gonna be able to win this. Everything else for Warriors of Chaos is shattering. Valkia might come back, but I don't know. She might not. And another Spirit Leech will like kill her. That's army losses. GG. Yeah, good game. Good game from Norsk. I liked it. I liked it. Good build from Titus FF. Marauder Bearmen showing their value. Being immune to psychology and just general badasses. Norsk and I still struggled a little bit. Chimera did fine. For Duck Shark, pretty good game. Didn't watch your caster too much. I was busy talking about other bullshit. Gorbeast Chariots did good. Chaos Knight did good. Skirmish Cap did real good. Manticore did fine. So yeah, the front line getting wrecked by Norska was pretty brutal, but Duck Shark played it well from behind. GG. Now let's do a third one. I've talked a lot here, but it is what it is. It's what it is. Let's do here in Chiruk. Okay, Slaanesh versus Britannia. This should not be a very long game. Generally, Slaanesh games aren't the longest. Forsaken and Hellstriders and Seekers versus Britannia. It's solid. Forsaken are decent against cavalry in the late game when they're getting cycle charged. It's fine. Keeper Secrets with Melkoths and Rampage is pretty good. Seekers and Hellstriders are good. Fiends are good. Generally like the build. Okay. Maybe overinvest on the Forsaken would be my first thought. So I would maybe cut 2 Forsaken and replace them with Devoted Marauder Spears and then have 3 and 3. That might be a little safer for you because right now we're over-indexed and absolutely murdering the enemy infantry and then like hoping to deal some damage in the late game cycle charging. But with Britannia, the late game cycle charging, they're going to heal a bunch. So you don't necessarily want to leave it to passive chance like this. I don't think Forsaken are bad. I'm still like, yeah, you could take 3, it's fine, but 5 might be a lot. And then Hellstriders and Seekers. Hellstriders are okay, but I feel like they've been nerfed several times, and they're really good in domination because you can keep summoning them, but in land battles, they struggle a little bit more. I'd maybe cut 1 of them, and then with the money you saved from getting 2 Devoted Marauders of Spears instead of Forsaken, get a Seeker instead, because you really need the armor piercing in this matchup, or a Fiend or something. Just, yeah, more armor piercing for Grail Knights and for Hippogriff Knights, so. I like the build overall. I just might change the balance on some of the things, but not like cut any of the units outright. All right, Exalted Keeper of Secrets. Yeah, that's good. That's good. We already talked about that. New side, again, not really the focus of this replay, but just to mention, we have Knights of the Realm, which are good, Mounted Yeoman Archers, which are very good against Slaanesh, Royal Pegasus Knights, which is fine versus Slaanesh. I'm not a Royal Pegasus Knight fan, but like, I know people that are, so I'm not gonna pretend it's objectively wrong. It's fine. Alberic brought some pretty good kit. That's fine. A lot of people cut Foe Seeker, but up to you. And then Men-at-Arms and Peasant Mobs buffed up by the Grail Leak. And we have a Life Caster on foot. Solid. Yeah, it's a pretty solid Britannian build. Devoted Marauder got overextended a little bit and is getting punished quite heavily. And Slaanesh needs to just be moving forward. And again, that's not like a rules thing. Like, I'm not saying they're breaking the rules. It's just disadvantageous. Britannia is cycle charging you. Britannia is skirmishing with you, and you're not getting any damage in return. So we just gotta, you're all melee. You've got to advance to just leverage your build against the enemy. Nice Melkoths onto the Royal Pegasus Knights. That's fine. I'm gonna fast forward for a little bit, as it looks like Slaanesh is just eating the damage. They're trying to just eat it in controlled fashion, but they do need to be like advancing, otherwise the game will never turn around for them. He also could be waiting for his opponent to make a mistake, though, because he does have a rampage. So if he can get under the Royal Pegasus Knights for whatever reason, he can rampage them and keep them on the ground. Forsaken lining up. I don't know if that was intentional, but I kind of liked what they did there versus the Knights of the Realm, where they went really thin so that the charge wouldn't hit as much of them. I don't know if that was intentional, but it looked like it was, and it was pretty badass. So just take the credit whether you meant to or not. Alberic landed briefly, got some poke on the Forsaken, gets back up in the sky. Pretty solid from him. And now Slaanesh is starting to advance. This is good. Now they're trying not to advance too haphazardly and get all separated. So they're trying to stay together. I like that. That's fine. And I'm glad that they're now advancing. So glad to see it. And now they're going to blend peasants. Peasants are peasants. They are there to die. If your objective is just to kill peasants, that's pretty meek. But why I do think we should get these engagements going is, one, you can charge up army passive by murdering peasants, and two, the caster is a foot caster, so you can put her under pressure and force the knights to do something about it, which is, that's when Slaanesh gets their value, is counter punching you. But to counter punch, you need to force the enemy to throw a punch, and when they were all AFK and stuff, there was no reason for Britannia to commit, so there was nothing for the Slaaneshes to do. We do have some Forsaken kind of loitering about, so they do need to get active, but this is exactly what you want to do. So sniping out that Damsel of Life, really punishing the Britannians for not being there for them, for sacrificing their front line so heavily, and then just running over their Damsel is really good. So good punish from Slaanesh, I like that. Again, some of the Forsaken are kind of lollygagging a little bit, but at this point, they can turn and fight. You want the Forsaken to fight Knights if the Knights will take it. The problem is the Knights won't usually take it, but if they're going to be here, push them. Push them off your Seekers, push them off your Hellstriders. Because that's the thing, right? You can just run away with Slaanesh. You're faster. You can just run away. But the thing is if you have a winning front line, you want to draw the Britannians into your Forsaken as much as possible and use this as like a little safe zone that they can't enter for fear of taking too much damage. And that seems to be what Slaanesh is doing, so I do like that. It's ending up a little clumpy, but that is something you can generally do to force factions like Britannia into your front line. Now we have a Narcissism netting down the Britannians, so the Slaaneshes are going to try and take a fight. I would like it if they could like wrap this area, but that might be like too complicated for the fucking chaos that's going on, so fair. But yeah, the Seekers are having a tough time really capitalizing on this, and the Britannian blob of heavy cav is just getting good engagement after good engagement. The Exalted Keeper Secrets has to come back here and form a weird pile up with their rampage and then get the Seekers to countercharge, but at this point the Seekers are like all dead. So we were not able to truly punish that area, unfortunately. The Damsel is off the map, though, so there is no healing for Britannia at all. That's a really big win for Slaanesh. Not all going poorly, it's just... I'm pointing out a lot of mistakes because that's what I'm analyzing here, but the Britannians are also making mistakes. I'm not trying to be a dick. Like, these calves shouldn't be this blobbed up. They should have responded to their Damsel getting sniped out a little more quickly, a little more efficiently, right? There's criticism on both sides, but I'm focusing on the Slaanesh player, so I just sound like I'm harping on them. Forsaken blending up Men-at-Arms, it's perfectly fine. No issues there. And the Seeker is, the Exalted Keeper Secrets is just going to take out the Guerrero Leak while you can. That's fine. That's decent value. Forsaken are going to get charged by Knights. But again, if they can get a fight with Knights, they're pretty happy. It's just if the Knights cycle charge them, they're going to have a bad time. But if they sit and fight, Forsaken trade okay. They're 800 gold. So yeah, they'll lose to all these Knights, but they'll trade okay in doing so. And the Exalted Keeper Secrets and other Forsaken are killing off some stuff. Ending up a little blobby. A little blobby. Good little pursuit here by the Hellstriders against the Mounted Yeomen, who now are pretty much out of ammo, so they do kind of just have to fight the Hellstriders. And man, your Hellstriders are outnumbered, but they'll do their best against those unwashed peasants. They're trying to charge up Soul Hunters. Get some leadership. Stay in it. Stay in it. Nice Melkoths onto Pegasus Knights. The blob of Knights ends up on top of Forsaken and Fiends, which is pretty bad for them, especially when they don't have healing, so that's going really well for you. Hellstriders managed to rout one of the Mounted Yeoman Archers, and they're on the hunt. Man, their HP is low, and their leadership's low, but they're hanging in there. They're letting the guys get away. I wonder if he has guard mode on by default. Could be. Really good AoE rampage I thought I just saw occurring there. Now the Knights start to back off, but Alberic might be in too deep. We even have a Fascination out of one of the Knights of the Realm, going to force them back into the fight. Probably wanted to use it on the healthiest Knight because of the damage aspect of that spell, but any of the Knights is fine. Melkoths onto the healthy Knight of the Realm, so yeah, really attritioning out the Knights in this late game, and they just can't kill all the Forsaken in time, which is really good. This would be more concerning if you hadn't killed the damsel right away, so great job killing the damsel, because now the long game doesn't favor them anymore, really. There's nothing they can do about it. Like, they back off and don't heal and stand around while you cast Melkoths on them, so now they have to try and kill you quickly, which didn't work, and now you're winning. So it's pretty good. Yeah, really good job punishing the damsel. That was fantastic. That won you the game. That won you the game, for sure. On the other side, Atom Blitz. I mean, if you're watching this replay, I didn't talk too much about your stuff, but yeah, separating out your knights. The blob isn't as effective. It takes a lot of micro and a lot of work to keep everybody all separate all the time and shit, but like, it is more effective to use your cavalry that way. Overall, pretty solid game, but when Slaanesh was moving in on your lord, probably the Hippogriff Knights, I mean, the Pegasus Knights and Alberic had to use their flying ability to get over the Slaaneshes and get back there and protect her, punish that Slaanesh lord, and then, you know, if the Slaaneshes come for you, then that's a tricky situation. Like, I'm not saying it's easy, but unfortunately losing that damsel, while it's a great play from here, and it's also a tough play for you, because then it's like, well, without the healing, then you don't have the attrition value that you can use versus Slaanesh, because Slaanesh hates to just sit and fight forever and ever, right? They want a quick engagement that they win, but without your healing, then you also have that weakness now, because your knights don't really want a long fight either, so it's tough. All right, GG's, lads, and that was 3 games in a row, so I'm going to cut it there and put this in a smash-together video. Roar.
Subscribe, yes, yes.